Welcome to the podcast for real-life heroines. Let's embark on a journey that unveils the extraordinary stories of everyday women who redefine what it means to be a heroine or hero. Life is a tapestry of inspiration and magic, and today's episode is no exception. Here's your host, Susanna Liller.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me again for this particular episode of the podcast for real live heroines. And I really have a real live heroine to talk with you this morning. Creighton Taylor, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Creighton and I have known each other for a long time, and I can consider myself blessed to call her a friend and a good friend. We've been through a lot together. Let me just say a few words about her, and then we'll talk more, and I'll tell you how we got started on our joint heroine's journey. Wouldn't you call the journey we've been on together, Creighton, a heroine's journey?
Yes.
Yes.
I've never thought about it that way, but
Oh
now
my
that
gosh.
definitely,
Yes,
definitely.
because one of the key things is you leave your comfort zone to start something new that you haven't done before. Have we done that together?
Yes.
Are you remembering talking in the Portland Public Library,
Yes, I am. I am.
going to speakers boot camp in California? That's only to name a few. So,
Yes.
anyways, Creighton Taylor, my friend, is a gardener. She's a quilter. She's a retired life coach. And I'm going to poke that in a bit. Say, retired, really? Aspiring writer, member of the Maine Health Behavioral Health Advisory Committee, and passionate advocate for raising awareness about mental illness and the importance of family education and support. Um, yeah, so Creighton and I have known each other, I'm thinking, since 2003, 2004.
Yeah, I mean it's been over 25 years.
Yeah. And I want to share with everybody, Creighton, the device that I used to pull you in. Do you remember what that was?
No, I have no idea.
Okay. So I did a circle to find somebody who could help me in my business. And again, and sadly, and I'm going to explain to people what a circle is, but sadly, I didn't date it, but I know it was before you joined me. And a circle is something that I teach and I've written about. It's a way to focus on what you want and to block out the thoughts about what you don't want. And you start by drawing a circle. And then on the outside, you put the things you don't want. And on the inside, you put what you're looking for, what you don't do want. And I was looking for, I wrote it right down here, Ruby Slippers Business Manager.
Oh, that's so funny.
And on the outside, I had the things that hadn't worked with the previous one. So I wasn't looking for these qualities. And they were easily discouraged, negative thinker, talks too much. And I will go further into that. But on the inside, I put takes the initiative, is fun, follows through, does great client relations, works very well with people. It is believes in ruby slippers and its philosophy. And
Oh my
anyway,
gosh.
a lot of things. And then I have up here 6 months, Creighton.
What?
You showed up. So it's one of my prime examples
Oh
I
my
use.
God.
Do a circle.
That gave me goosebumps. Well, so you know what, Susanna?
What, Creighton?
I
Ah,
did one this morning.
there you go. And you've already cut out the things you don't
Cut out
want.
the negatives and I rip them up and I flush them down the toilet or burn them or whatever is available. But
I
yeah,
know.
so I have my own little,
Wonderful.
because it's a way of setting your intention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they continue to amaze me. And yeah, so You are a living, breathing example. This
Careful.
works. Yeah. So what the two of us wanted to talk about today is kind of your heroine's journeys and what you've been through, and you've been through some big ones. But most specifically, maybe we start with the most recent one.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I knew all the time since I knew you way back in the early 2000s that you would get fits of depression or bouts of depression. But I think that I didn't know really how severely they began to happen for you. And you are going to talk with us this morning about an amazing way that you finally discovered to deal with them.
Yeah.
And so, how do you want to start talking about this? Do you want to talk about how they came on to be more difficult for you, or?
Oh, sure. I can talk about yes, as an adult, all my adult life I've had depression intermittently. Um, and I've had a couple of experiences where it was severe enough that I needed an intervention. I had one hospitalization years and years and years ago when my kids were little. Um, and, even then I didn't really think I was sick. I just thought, I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm just sad. So, yeah, I've had to deal with it off and on throughout my adult life. But I think right after the pandemic really shook me up, and scared me. And I think it just exacerbated my depression. So in 2023, I wasn't responding to meds. It turns out I have severe treatment resistant depression.
So, can I interrupt you there to help people? So, I would say, yeah, sure, I've been depressed, and when my parents died, particularly when my mother died, and I don't think that's at all what you're talking about. And I know that I came to visit you at times when you were on the couch in your living room and kind of had to be just
I
down.
couldn't do anything. Yeah,
Mm,
so okay, so
explain. Yeah.
when depression shows up, for me, everyone's different, so I can only speak to my own experience, but I feel incredibly fatigued, like trying to do anything is difficult. So I can remember one day saying, "Oh, I just need to lie down." And that was the beginning of like not coming out of my room. John told me recently, my husband John told me that there were weeks when I didn't come downstairs.
Mm, mm,
Um, and it's very painful because I think people think that depression is just a mood and like you come out of it.
mm,
But depression is a kind of psychic pain that until you've experienced it, it's hard to understand when someone says they're depressed,
mm.
what that means.
Yeah.
And what it means is I was totally incapacitated. Um, Being outside with other people was too much. Being out in the world was too much. It felt too big. I was so anxious I couldn't cope with that. Um, and yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
that's helpful. Thank you. But let me also juxtapose the Creighton that I've known, who on her birthday kind of is singing It's Your Birthday by the Beatles and has music to go with it and is gardening unbelievably and cooking and dinner parties. And so there's all of that too.
yeah.
Yeah,
And all of that goes away
yeah.
when I'm depressed. It's as if my existence just comes down to a bare nub that hurts.
Wow.
And I think that is an important thing for people to understand about depression. When you're in unrelenting pain, and when I was in unrelenting pain, it wore me out to the point where I was thinking, I can't do this. I can't go on. I can't, this is too much. I can't, and that's when I was so depressed that I had an idea for how to end my life.
Mm.
And, um, and it made perfect sense to me because I was in so much pain. I thought, I'm a burden to my family. I'm not offering them anything. I'm just, you know, doing nothing. And I felt like it would be better if I was gone.
Yeah. That's so. Tell us now how you climbed out of this hole.
Well, I have to say, I'm very grateful I have a wonderful team. I have an excellent psychiatrist. I have an excellent therapist. I have a supportive family, and I have I have the grit and determination to fight it. And not everyone has that.
No. And you didn't for a while, though, if you were thinking to end it all.
Yeah, no, I needed help.
Yeah.
So, and that's when my psychiatrist said, "What about ECT?" Because we had been trying all kinds of meds and nothing was working. And when she said ECT, I was like, "Me? I don't need that."
So people don't know what that is, Creighton. What?
So ECT is electroconvulsive therapy. And it is not like what you have seen in the movies like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or A Beautiful Mind. It is nothing like that. But when my doctor recommended ECT, all I knew of in my experience were those movies. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have seen those movies and how people they put things in your mouth so you don't swallow your tongue and the person's shaking. It's horrible.
Horrible. It's horrible.
So you're
So
telling us it's not like that.
no, but I didn't know that. And this is part of the heroine's journey because I was really scared and I didn't want to do it. But I knew that I was running out of options. And I should add, just as an aside, sadly, for some people, it doesn't work. And so, their plight continues without that being a successful intervention. And my heart just goes out to them. But so what I had to do was, schedule an appointment and go. And I was so depressed. I mean, if my doctor had told me I needed to get two front teeth pulled out, I would have done it because I just wanted relief.
Try anything. Yeah.
I would try anything. And so here's what ECT is really like. Should I go in?
Yes, please do it.
Okay.
Yes.
It's day surgery. It's under general anesthesia. What I didn't know when I went the first time is that it's a real commitment. I thought it would be like, bzzz, one and done and you feel better, but that's not how it works. And it depends again on the person. But I was so severely depressed that what they did was I went 3 times a week. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And there are two campuses in Maine, well, three, but the ones locally are Sanford and Portland, where you can have this done. And there weren't any openings in Portland, so we drive to Sanford when I get it. And I still get it. My first time getting it was in 2023, and I had a total of 16 treatments. And they were spread out over many weeks. So it would be like 3 1 week, 3 the next week, 2 the next week, 2 the next week. But it's a real commitment. And some people only need 6 or less, but I just needed a lot. So I had 16. And what happens is you wait in a waiting room. A nurse comes and gets you. Um, I'll just talk in my voice, not you. Someone came and got me.
Yeah.
And then they get 2 warm blankets, one for your arm and one to put over you while you're in the waiting area, which is, like you see in an emergency room, just banks of beds with curtains. And I got an IV every time. the anesthesiologist came and talked to me, and then the doctor didn't come out, but the coordinator of the whole facility came, and she was like my guardian angel. I just love her. And the nurses were all so kind, have always been, ever since I've been going. And now I know them all.
Hmm.
And so then when it's your turn to go back after it's just like if you've had day surgery, the anesthesiologist comes out and talks to you, and then it's your turn. They wheel you back into the treatment room. And the first time it felt like the longest journey of my life down this hall.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I was so scared,
Yeah.
nervous and everything. And now when I go, it's like, this is like, it's like you go through the doors and it's right there.
And is it sort of like when you get your wisdom teeth pulled, that you're all of a sudden you're waking up and you don't even know that it's happened?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And uh yeah, and then they have to, get everything set up, and the psychiatrist who administers the treatment, he washes my head like here so that the electrodes have a really good contact. And then they just load me up with electrodes everywhere. And then I don't like to go under. That's the hardest part for me. I really don't like it. So I always ask the anesthesiologist, will you tell me when I'm going under? And he does. And then, like you said, I wake up and it's done.
Right, right. And my understanding in reading about this, because there was a wonderful article written about you in the Maine Health newsletter, right? And they said that it causes you to have a
A
what's the word?
convulsion.
Yes, it
Yeah,
purposefully causes you, which in doing so rewires your brain.
pretty much.
Okay, so that's
They don't
incredible.
I mean, Susanna, the crazy thing about this is they don't even really know why it works. And so I joke, I wonder who the first person was that they said, I have this crazy idea. Let's zap somebody and give them a convulsion and maybe they'll cheer up.
And Creighton, that must be why, the shows and everything have started when they do this, giving us that impression because it probably was awful at the beginning.
Oh, it was terrible. They
Yeah.
didn't even use anesthesia.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? I can't imagine. But so let me tell you, the other thing that they do is they put a blood pressure cuff on my ankle. And the reason why they do that is when they put you under, they also give you a muscle relaxant so that when you're having the convulsion, you're not contorting. But they want to know that you're having a good, healthy convulsion. They want, because that's what's beneficial. So they cut off the how did this they cut off the circulation just to the foot so that they can see your body reacting by the toes twitching, so that the foot is not relaxed like the rest of your body, but that they use so they can see if you're having a healthy convulsion or not.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So and waking up is no fun. Sometimes I was very agitated. One time I woke up and there was a nurse sitting in a chair next to me, and I was like, what the hell are you, don't you have things to do? And it turned out I got very agitated and
She had to be there.
she had to be there to take care of me. And some people get incontinent. I've only been incontinent once when it happened. And by the way, they do put a mouth guard in your mouth after you're asleep.
Yeah.
Um, but that's it.
I would think you'd be exhausted afterwards.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of the day I just kind of would come home and sleep, um and because it was, a pretty rigorous schedule, 3 times a week. I mean, all I did was ECT,
Yeah.
but I was so depressed that I wasn't doing anything anyway, so it didn't matter.
So how did you know, what were the signs that it worked and you were coming out of this depression?
other people noticed it before me.
Huh.
You know, it's hard. It's hard to be in it and to see that I was getting better. John noticed that I was whistling because I whistle and sing just, when I'm myself,
Yeah.
like doing chores and just sing or whistle. Um, and I think it was because I wanted to see my friends. I felt like going out. I felt like doing things. And I hadn't wanted to in so long. And, I have a group of friends in our neighborhood where we get together and have drinks. And they were so happy to see me.
Yeah, like you were born again. They had lost you and you came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And so so a little more of the history of it. In 2023, I had 16 interventions, treatments, and then I felt good. I felt like myself again. I felt clear-headed and like I had energy. And
Mm.
so the coordinator of the program said, "Well, what do you want to do? Should I keep you on the schedule?" And I said, "Well, no, I feel good. Um, thanks. Bye-bye. Good
See
to
you
know you."
later. See you later. It's been great. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I I got depressed again,
Oh,
even worse.
oh my gosh, Creighton.
Yeah, and then I realized I had to do it. So I went back again in 2024, starting in January, and I did another 16 treatments through 2024. And what that did was it humbled me. It humbled me to my core because I realized I'm not going to be one of those people who can just do a quick treatment and then you're fine forever, because that does happen. There are plenty of people that have that experience. I'm just not one of them. And for whatever reason, my body doesn't produce the chemicals that keep me on the bright side
Yeah.
of life. And I have to have this treatment, and I'm grateful it works. So now I'm in maintenance, which means um, it's not as often, and it just kind of sustains my mood. And I've only had 3 treatments in 2025. And what I'm shooting for is just twice a year.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. So, do you have a sense of how many patients are there having this done like you? Is this, you said there wasn't room in one of the facilities. Are a lot of people doing this treatment?
yes, there are, but no one wants to talk about it
Right, right,
because there's so much stigma about it.
right, right.
I just don't feel that way.
No. You have never felt that way. You have
No.
always spoken up for things that people don't want to talk about, like mental illness. I know you've had that in your family, and that makes you such a worthy person, Creighton, to help educate the rest of us.
Well, thank you. And it's funny because after that article came out, I've had many people now say, "Oh, you're so brave to talk about it." And I was thinking about that because I don't feel brave. I was thinking, why don't I feel brave? And I realized it's because I don't feel shame.
Yeah,
If I was ashamed and I talked about it, then maybe that would be brave.
right.
But I don't feel ashamed. I feel like it it's just something that some people have.
Yeah. And as you say, my brain just happens to not make the chemicals that I need to be happy all the time. But
Yeah.
also the bravery to me, it's one thing to go to say, yes, I'm going to commit to this procedure that you haven't done before and, you know, have been maybe psyched about that it's horrible. And then it's another thing to talk about it and share it and help make it more, maybe you can't say mainstream, but more, well, it's just important that people would know that this is an alternative, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. And so one of the things I do now is I mean, because I'm a veteran, I've had a lot of experience now with it, and I can speak to its efficacy. So once a month, there's a ECT support group through Maine Med, and I participate. And I do it because I know that the coordinators really appreciate me being on the calls, because often it's people who are trying to decide if they want to do ECT, or people who are in the hospital with acute illness. And I think my strength is that I can speak to my experience and let other people know that it's worth trying.
Right.
What have you got to lose?
And I think, well, they can hear it in your voice that, I'm giving you the straight talk here about this, and you're very trustworthy. Uh, and that comes across. And you're also matter of fact about it.
Yeah.
The
So
chem
in my circle, I
Yes.
I put, I am a truth teller.
Yeah.
People trust me. Because
Creighton.
it's true.
Yeah, I know. And I've known this about you forever. I'm glad that we're doing this so other people will know this and hear your words and know that you can be believed. And maybe they're on the edge about this and they'll decide to do it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or they'll understand, they'll have a better understanding of what it's like for people who are depressed, and they're not being lazy. They're not being uh, indulgent. It is really painful. You suffer a lot when you're depressed. And I don't think people know that, because it's like it's all in our head, so it doesn't show.
right.
But if we were bleeding,
Yeah.
maybe it would be a different. And also, people just are scared of it. I have two stories. Do I have time? I don't know what.
Oh, yes, you have time. Absolutely.
Okay. So when I first got really depressed, that was back in 1995, and I went in the hospital for a week. Um, and I came out, and the first thing I did, I went and got my hair cut. And I knew this woman. I'd been to her many times. And she said, "So, what have you been up to?" And I said, "Well, actually, I've been sick. I was in the hospital." And she's washing my hair while we're having this conversation. And she said, "Oh, what? Really? What happened?" And I said, "Well, I just got really depressed." And she went like this,
Like
like
she
taking my
thought,
head, give it to her.
oh my gosh.
And that's when I realized, because I had had my gallbladder out the year before. And what I realized was, okay, it's okay to say you've had your gallbladder out, but it's not okay to say you've been in the hospital for a week because you were depressed. And the other memory I have of that is our kids were little and John had to get a babysitter. So he found somebody, but she was just like a college kid, and he had never used her before. I think she was an intern at Barton and Gingold or something.
Hmm.
Anyway, so when I walked in the door, I saw her kind of looking at me like, you don't look nuts. But she was a little scared of me.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is really different.
There's a big stigma, big
It's
stigma.
huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. We have so much work to do in that world, but that's why I like to talk about it and get the word out.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn the corner in this conversation
Uh-huh.
because, and this is something else that, again, heroines, they leave their comfort zone and they do hard things and they accept that on the adventure, that they will have good things happen and bad things happen, but it's part of your growth. And so let me just ask you, this isn't what I want to talk about, but would you say that from all this, you've grown as a person?
You know what I call it? My painful gift.
Yeah, right.
Because I have a loved one with a serious mental illness, and I am such a better person. I
Yeah,
am so much kinder, so
right,
much more compassionate,
right.
um, so much humbler. I I
Yeah.
mean,
So
Yeah, so it's been I call it my painful gift.
Yeah.
It's given me,
It's a gift of your journey, and it's been a very, very hard journey, but it's had so many rewards. But that's not where I'm going. Where I'm going is, so I know that throughout this time of struggling, I think maybe I'm going to guess for 12 years, you've been writing a book.
yep.
And I've written a book, and I know it is very, very hard, but I wrote it not having to go have electric therapy. And 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 you are still writing. I
Yes.
think you've recently sent it to an editor who'll be working with you.
Well,
And
no, not yet. Not
oh,
yet.
okay. All right. So just I think it's such a I've read it. I got to read an early draft, and I'm sure you've revised it since then, but
Yes, I have.
it's a lovely mystery love story.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I'm so glad you sum it up like that.
oh, and it's called Provenance.
Uh-huh.
And what
So
would you
I
say
would,
about it?
well, one of the things I would say is, Maslow's triangle pyramid of needs.
Yeah,
I first was getting really better. I thought, okay, I got to rebuild my life because for really like 2 years I was gone. I was incapacitated.
that's
I
the survival level, right?
just the survival level. And then I thought, well, the first thing I have to is the foundation is my mental health. And so I worked really hard and got that back. And then it was my physical health. So I got back into, working out and getting strong again and get regaining that. And I also gained like 25 pounds eating ice cream while I was so depressed. So I
Yeah.
needed to do a little work. I needed a little work. But then once I got to that, I was like, okay, well, what's next? And the next thing to build was my social connections. So I've been reaching out and I'm still doing it because I haven't seen a lot of people. But having coffee with friends or making plans with friends to do things. Um, and then after that, it was like, well, what now? What do I have the bandwidth to include? And that's when writing came back. And I used writing when I have a loved one who has a serious mental illness. I used writing at that point when I was reconciling myself to that. And I called it my antidote to despair. Because when I'm writing, I don't think about anything else. And I'm creating a world. It's amazing. So, um, in fits and starts, I've been working on this for, you're right, it's been over 10 years. I can't believe that. But now in the last 6 months, I said, I'm really sick of this. I've been doing this so long. I just want to get it out of my head. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I dream big. I have my fantasies of what will happen, but I realize it's going to take a lot of work to get that.
Right.
But anyway, I'm finishing it up. I've had two writing coaches over that time. And the most recent one was someone I knew I wanted to work with because she just tells you the truth. And she told me the truth after she read the draft from 2019. That was the last draft I had. And she let me know that it needed a lot of work. And that stopped me dead in my tracks for a long time. And then just recently I said, I'm gonna figure it out. And I found a note that I wrote to myself from before and it just said, don't worry, you will figure this all out. And I was like, yeah, I will. I will.
Right.
And I
And
have.
yeah, and so to me, this is yet another really helpful message that you're sending out, and people I hope are hearing that you don't give up. It just one person says something, okay, but you can figure it out and keep going. And I
Don't give
remember
up.
hearing that you had put it aside because you were,
I was too sick. I
yeah,
couldn't do it. The pandemic hit, and then I got really depressed, and then I've been rebuilding my life. I mean, truly, because I was so sick for so long. And so I'm almost done, and I had set myself a deadline of August 15th. I reached out to somebody who I knew used to do copy editing. She got back to me right away and said, "Yeah, I'm still doing that. I'd love to look at your book." So she's going to look at it once it's done. And I set a deadline for myself of August 15th, and I'm going to reach it.
That's remarkable and great, and congratulations. I'm high-fiving you.
I
That's so good, Creighton.
know. I'm
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
and you know what? It's a great story, and I really want to share it with people.
it is a great story. And we're going to do another one of these when it's done and share it with people for
And
sure.
I'm published, and I'm on the Today Show, and we'll
Yes,
get into a movie.
right, absolutely. And who's going to play? It's Penelope, right?
Yes.
Who's
I
going to
don't,
be Penelope?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll find.
Haven't gone that far. Might be a while.
In Ruby Slippers, we would often play a game called As If, where we would talk as if the thing that we wanted was really happening. So when that happens, I'm going to go to the bookstore and buy a bunch of these books and give them to all my friends, Creighton, and I'm going to bring them to you first, and you're going to sign them.
Oh, okay. I'll add that to my fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. And last but not least, I knew that you were getting better for sure when you told me that you had gotten a dog. And
Yeah.
I know dogs are so special to you and to John, and they are in our family too. And you, maybe a year ago, got Rosie.
In December.
Oh,
So yeah. She's 10 months old.
golden retriever.
Yep. And
I
she's
got,
she's a deer,
yeah, I got to meet
totally
her.
smitten.
Yes, yes. So life is good, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Susanna, I feel like I'm on the cusp of something really exciting.
Mm, yeah.
And I don't know what that is yet, but I'm just riding the wave and I'm so grateful. I think gratitude really is the thing that fuels it. I'm just so grateful that I can write, that I
Mm,
have the emotional strength to think about doing scary things and actually doing them,
right.
you know? Reaching out to find a copy editor, that was like, wow, where did that come from?
Yeah, and we used to talk about this a lot when we taught other people. And, the more you do it, the more you take those risks and venture out in the dark, the easier it becomes, right?
Much easier. Well,
Yeah,
right, because I thought, well, what's the worst thing that happens? She's not doing it anymore, and I have to keep looking,
right,
you know?
right. Yes. Well, listen, I don't know if this was scary for you. I hope not, but thank you for doing this with me.
No, Susanna, I love being with you. It always makes me happy.
Yeah,
And
me,
I'm just so grateful to you for being interested in talking about something that can be difficult for people.
right.
So thank you for that.
Yes, of course. And my great hope is that people who need to hear this need to hear what you have said and listen to what we talked about this morning will hear it and be helped by it.
Yes.
So I always make sure that I ask people, how can people get in touch with you if they want to know more? Are you willing to give your
Uh,
information?
I have to think about that.
So you don't have to tell me right now because this will be published probably next month, and I'll put whatever you give me in the show notes. And so you have time.
Well, you know what I would say, here's what I would say, Susanna, because um, I'm not a trained professional. And if people are reaching out because they're in crisis or I'm not the right person. So what I'll do is give you the resources like NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness.
Okay.
I think that's the best. And then if someone contacts you and they have something that you think I can field, I'm happy to do that. But I need to set some boundaries.
Yes, you do. I understand perfectly. Someday you're going to have that amazing website for your book, but you're not there. So we're not going
That's next.
to. Yeah. But here, I'm not quite done with you.
Okay.
So we've talked about a lot of things, and you've said so many substantive, important things. But people are busy and they hear so much every day. And so if there was one thing these listeners who tuned in, who were lucky enough to tune in today and hear you, one thing that you want to make sure they remember, what would you say to them?
Don't give up hope. Life can be good.
Yeah, there you go. And here you are, living proof, living proof.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Yeah. Okay, dear Creighton, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Oh my gosh. That's fun. I knew it would be fun. I put it on my circle.
Okay, and let's just remember way back when I
I can't
imagined you
believe that.
right in the middle. Fun. This was going to be a
Oh,
person who we have fun with. So great.
we did have
Okay.
fun. We did. Thank you, Susanna.
You're welcome. And thank you, people who did listen in today. Thank you for following me. I hope to see you next month with a new podcast. In the meantime, have a great rest of the month. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Creighton.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the podcast for real life heroines. Your time and presence mean the world to us. If you're hungry for more inspiration and ready to craft your own heroine story, connect with Susanna outside of the show. Visit susannalillard.com to discover her courses and programs designed to empower you on your journey. Until next time, may your days be filled with the courage and strength of a true heroine. Stay inspired.